Hey friends and everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. I am Frederick, as you know, and I am happy to have you here today. In this video, we are going to look at how to connect MongoDB to your .NET Web API. You know, my videos that I have been doing, I do connect SQLite or SQL Server to Web API. But this time around, I'm going to change it. Yes, we're going to connect MongoDB. First of all, maybe if it is the first time of you hearing MongoDB, you'll be asking yourself, what is Mongo? What is DB? Yeah, so let me take some few minutes to take it through MongoDB and why you need MongoDB in your web API. So MongoDB is a popular open source NoSQL database program. It falls under the category of document-oriented databases, meaning it stores data in flexible JSON-like document rather than the traditional table-based structure used in the relational databases like SQL Server and SQLite. So with using MongoDB, there's no need for you to have a table, columns, and rows. Nope. All records are saved in the form of JSON. Then, let me tell you some few characteristics or features of MongoDB. It is document-oriented. MongoDB stores data in documents, which are JSON-like objects composed of key value pairs. So we have the key and we have the value. Let's say you want to save product model. We have product ID, product name. The properties here are the keys, and the values that are going to pass in there are the values, right? So you're going to have a key value pair, and that is what MongoDB uses to store data for you. Also, MongoDB has rich query language. MongoDB provides a powerful query language with support of a wide range of operations, including filtering, sorting, aggregation, and a lot. This allows developers to perform complex queries to retrieve and manipulate data as needed. So these are some of the features of MongoDB. You can actually read a lot about this and know much into MongoDB. Now, let's talk about how do you integrate this. To integrate this, you first need to install a MongoDB driver as NuGet package to your project. After doing that, you can go ahead and create a connection and start using it. It's very simple. Now, how do you see your tables? You know, like the SQL, you can open your SSMS to see your databases, also your tables, your columns, your rows, your records. You can see everything. Do we have any graphical representation to see your MongoDB database? Yes, you can. There are several tools that you can use to see the database that you're going to create with the MongoDB driver. We have MongoDB Compass. It's also there. There's a graphical representation tool that can be used to interact with the MongoDB database. Aside from that, we have the Mongo Shell, which provides a command line interface called the Mongo Shell, which allows you to interact with the Mongo database using JavaScript-like syntax. We have Robo3T, formerly known as the RoboMongo. Now, with this, it also is a graphical user interface tool that allows you to manage any and visualize MongoDB databases. Then we have the Mongo Atlas. If you're using Mongo Atlas, then you can actually have access to this using this tool, which gives you a web interface of that. So you can see that there are a lot of tools that you can use to see the database, also interact with the database, which is going to be created. But in this video, we're going to use the first one. That's what I love. That's the MongoDB Compass. We're going to install this package, this tool, and we're going to interact with the database for you to see the data, the record for yourself. I hope you're going to love it. Yes. So let's launch our Visual Studio 2022 or higher. Then we're going to create a project. Now, I'm going to leave the source code as well. So if you want to grab it, check the video description. You can grab it in there and review. So we're going to choose Web API. That's what we need. And for language, you know, I use C#. So I'm going to use C#, ASP.NET Core Web API. And I'm going to name it as Demo MongoDB So daemon MongoDB in web API. I'm going to click on next. So create. So we're going to perform CRUD operation on the MongoDB database. We're going to add, read, create, update, and delete data, okay, or record. And aside from that, we're going to have a connection as well. We're going to install the graphical user interface tool, that is the MongoDB Compass, for you to see the database for yourself. So let's first start by installing the NuGet package. So as usual, I have mine already installed, so I need to reinstall again. I'm going to do here is I'm going to unload project. Then down here where I'm going to have the item group, here there's an item group. I'm going to paste the package reference in here. But if you don't have this, you can install this package, MongoDB.driver. Very simple one. So get this package installed. After that, I'm going to right click on this, reload project with dependencies to get this package installed. Now, if I want to confirm whether it got installed, I can just check on the dependencies, NuGet packages, and I'm going to find this in here. That's fine. It looks great. It is here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here next is I'm going to create this as an DB context. That's going to contain the connection string, or the connection string, the connection of the MongoDB. So, MongoDB has a default port that we can expose up to. For now, you can customize this, but for now, we're going to maintain the default one. And we're going to use that integrated into our application. We're not going to use any extra module that we have rather than the weather forecast. Okay, so with this, I'm going to do, I'm going to create folder in here and I name it as entities. Now with this, I'm going to move this weather forecast into this folder. Now, after doing this, I'm going to change the properties in there to suit what we want. Okay, so here we have daytime, temperature, sea, elf, and summer. So I'm going to remove all this and I'm going to add this. Now, you can see there are some quite different attributes or unknown attributes that you can see from here. Line 9, line 12, line 15, line 18, isn't it? I know the rest, you know it already. That's good. Now, these are the elements, these are the attributes that tells you it is going to be used by MongoDB. So, business element, you can specify in the name itself. And that is the key. So, you're going to use, you see that here we have a key value pair. Now, this, if we do not specify this, it's going to be using the default one. But in case you have anyone that you want to use, in case you want to vary this, maybe you want to put underscore down here, then you can specify the business element, right? And now this is going to be used as a key, and now the value they're going to provide here is going to be the value. So we're going to have the key value pair. That's great, isn't it? So let's have temperature F like this. We're going to have temperature C like this. Okay, let's give it a try and now check it out. All right, we have a GUID. That's going to be the ID for this anytime that you want to save anything to the database. And now this package is coming from, or these attributes are coming from the MongoDB. So as you can see from this, the package that we installed, MongoDB.driver. And you can see the namespace here is the MongoDB.bation, the visualization, the attribute. Okay. You can decide to skip this, but as I indicated earlier on, you know what you're doing. So you choose one for yourself. That's good. All right. So once we're done with this, I'm going to create our folder here, and that's going to be data folder. Now, within this data folder, I'm going to create a class and I'm going to name this an AppDB contest. That's what I like. If you've been following my videos, I know, I'll be creating a class called AppDB contest, and I do that in every application. So, AppDB contest. Now, there's going to be the contest class, which is going to handle the connection between application and the MongoDB, okay, database, talking about that. So, once we have in there, the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to inherit, we're going to, let's have a database from this MongoDB database. And aside from that, we can give collection of this and also specify the name of this collection in here. So this is what we are doing. It's quite simple. Let me put in the right one. So I'm going to remove this and do it again. Yes, this is a complete one. Okay. Now see what I'm doing. Now you see that we have a private read only of what this interface. So this interface that we have in here is going to give us access to the database, and that's going to get a database name. So if you check it out, we are getting this I configuration. What I did here was I did not specifically hard coded a connection or the table or database name in here. No, I did not do that. I am going to put that in the app settings.json file. Okay. And so I need to get it. That's the reason why I am injecting this I configuration. When you have this interface, it tells you that we're going to get something right away from the app settings.json. And that's a configuration file. And I believe you are aware of this. So I set up that one. So let's see what I did. Is just a simple one with the connection strings as a key. So let's see the session for this. Go to the app settings.json. And now here I'm going to add this section. So you can see that here we have this connection string. And now with this, you can see connection strings in here. Now aside from this section, we have this a key, this is a value. So we have the MongoDB as a key here, and that is a connection string that I want from this. With this, we have to get a MongoDB : / localhost, and now that is an exposed port to this MongoDB. Okay, so this is the default one, and we want to maintain this 27017. So when you install this driver, you make sure that you have this default port specified in here. If you want to customize it, well, you can do that. And make sure that you know what you're doing. That's great. Okay, this is a database name. We need to provide database name. So here I'm going to have a weather DB. Okay, database name for this. All right, so once I have this, I go to the app.db context, and now in here I want to get a connection string and a database name. So configuration.get connection string, I'm going to pass in the key name. This is a key, so I can retrieve the value. Now from this, I want to create a client for this, and on this client I'm going to use this Mongo client. Passing this connection string, we get access to the connection string which has a port of the MongoDB. So that's a connection string. Aside from that, when I get a client, I can create the database using the client. So you can see get database, passing the database name from this configuration file. And here it is a weather DB. So I have a database ready, I have my client ready, and I use the client to create a database. You see that? Good. Now once I'm done with this, I need to create a collection of this. So you can see we have this iMongo collection. There's a model that I'm going to use as an entity. I say it's a weather forecast. And from that, the database that we create an interface in here, we're going to use it to get connection, which takes the t value of this weather forecast. Then we're going to give it a name as weather forecast list. This is going to be used to create a folder structure in the database. So take note of this weather forecast, and now the database name here, this is the weather forecast list. Keep this. And now when you go to the app settings, we have a weather DB. So we're going to have the database known as the weather DB, and then that's going to have a folder structure. The first one we're going to have access to is what? The weather forecast list. Let's see. So now we have this context class created. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to use that. I did not decide to create any repo for this. Okay, this is just a demo purpose, so I use straight away in the controller. So I believe once you have this, you can create a repo for this if you want to do that. Now you go to the controller, and now from this weather forecast, I'm going to remove this. That is the default one, so I'm going to remove this one. Then I'm going to paste in what I have in here. Now this is just a CRUD. You know this already, isn't it? If you're working with the API, so you know what CRUD is. You know the HTTP verbs used in the CRUD. So you can see we have this get list, and in here you can see I inject the app.db context in here as normally using the CF core. But this time around, it is a MongoDB connection. And in here I can see we created this weather forecast list, so we can get it from in there. When you check here, weather forecast, so this is a collection, and we can have access to this collection in the controller. That's fine. So here we want to get the whole list, and I can see we convert this to a list, and I will return it. Since it applies to this, we're going to get a single. So get single one, passing the GUI ID, because here when you check this, you can see is a ID. So we need to specify that in here. Then we can just Get a list from here, we make a search and I return. For post, we're going to add it. So insert one async and we can return this. Now update, we do this, we get replace one async. So you can see that these APIs are not the same as the EF APIs, where we have update, add, delete, and etc. This is going to be the replace one async, insert one async, and this is what find async, and etc. So you can see from here we have also delete as well. Delete one async, we're going to specify the ID in there. We're going to get it there from the list, get it deleted, and I return no content. Alright, so now we have this. We need to register this AppDB contest. So you copy this, you go to the program.ts file, and in here you have to register. Oh, see what I did. It should be services.add singleton, because you want to use a singleton to pull out this application. Okay, so we have to register like this. Good. Let's test this out. So you can see that our endpoints are ready. We have our get, read list, read single, post, put, and now delete. Now let's see, since we haven't added any record, we must get it as null, and that's what we have. Now here, let's try to add. Okay, there's single, so we cannot do this. So let's add first. We have an ID created in here, and maybe summary. Let's say this is sunny, and temperature C. We're gonna have something like this. Let's give any random numbers for this. Then click on execute. And now the feedback that is coming here, it has been what? It has been added. As you can see from this, it has been added. You have a new ID specified. Okay. Now when we go back again here to the list, and let's try to make a query and check it out. So you can see from here we have the list in here. And now this is storing in the MongoDB database. Good. So let's see. Let's add another one. So let's say this is, let's say we have, it's gonna rain, right? So rainy season. So something like that. Let's execute this. We have another one created, and with that forecast, execute this, get the list. You have two in here. If you want to get single, we can copy this from here. Get single, passing the ID of this. Execute, we have it. Now let's go there and update this. So we need to specify the ID, and there is an ID, so I'm going to remove all this. Now I'm pasting this one. I'm going to set this temperature to 100, and I'm going to say this is going to be updated. Click on execute. Now the same ID that we have in here is updated. Let's search for this ID. So execute this. Like I say, you have what? Updated. If I get the whole list, I must see this as updated. If I want to remove this too, I can do same. Check it out. So I'm going to pass in the ID of this. Delete. No content. Then let's get the list and check it out. So get the list. Yeah, so this is working. Now, how do you see the record here? Because you've seen the result. Can you see? Can you try the database? Yes. So for you to see the database, I have it here. Check it out. Install this package, MongoDB Compass. Now you see there is a local host, and there is a port that we specify 27017. If you check your source from the AppDB contest, ascertained 27017, and that is the port that we specify. Then here from databases, I'm going to click on this, and now here we have the three databases. This is the default one. If I click on refresh this, and you can see we have a WeatherDB. That's the database name, and weather forecast list is a collection. So with this, you can see it has one record, and that is a binary.create from base64, because this is a GUID. So we have the Git ID in here, and there's a record. So you can see that here we have temperature_C and temperature_F. So that is the display name that we specify in the weather forecast, this base element. So it is skipping this, and it is using this in place of the name specified in here. And the values that we specified in there becomes the value, because it has a key value pair. That is a key, and that is a value, and that is the usefulness of this MongoDB. So instead of we having a lot of tables in here with the columns and rows and etc., no, we have in the JSON-like format. And as you can see from this, that is what you can actually do more with this. You can add data, you can find, you can do more, you can manipulate the data that we have in here with this MongoDB compact. We can also add more. So let's see from this, from the post. So that is a post, and let's say this is normal. If I click on execute and check it up, refresh this, now you can see we have it. We have it in here normal, and you can see it is the same JSON-like format. All right, so that is it. That's a way to connect MongoDB to your ASP.NET Core Web API. You can also do this in your Blazor server application too. It's the same method. You can follow to integrate this in that project as well. All right, this is just an overview, not even complete, because you can read a lot from this MongoDB website or their documentation to know more on how to. But at least this is just a top phase on how to integrate this in your application. Thank you so much for watching this, and I believe you're gonna love it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, you make sure you do that, and also like this video to support this channel and this video grow. Thank you, and I'm going to catch up again. Till then, take care.